equal rights and the protection as a community, or this demand for severance, of separation, is going to continue to be there. Now, on paper, the Iraqi thing is working right now. I mean, the president of the country is a Kurd. The foreign minister is a Kurd. And I actually think it's quite remarkable when the Arab League meets, and the Kurdish foreign minister is sitting there with his Arab colleagues, and they're sitting there as equals. I think that's important. But it is only on paper working right now. And so more has to be done. But in no way can you compromise, I think, the security that the Kurdish people feel today. But it's also not sustainable in the long run. You see? I mean, you cannot have a separate Kurdistan as a nation carved out of Iraq and have it be sustainable, because as long as the tensions are there with Turkey and the tensions are there with Iran, and if there are then tensions to the south with what is left of Iraq, you basically will have a landlocked country that will not have the ability to survive and support itself. I think that the problem is there's hypocrisies all the way around. I mean, I thought it was rather ironic that Turkey was flying over Iraq during the time of Saddam, chasing after the PKK, and we were providing a no-fly zone at the same time. I mean, it didn't make sense to me. I think that the PKK has committed outrageous acts of terrorism. I don't dispute that at all. But I think that Turkish behavior toward the Kurds has been equally deplorable. And there has to be a solution for the Kurdish people in Turkey. There has to be equal rights given. There has to be respect for the culture. There has to be respect for their if they're going to be citizens of the state, they have to be given full protection as citizens of the state. And they're not right now. And I think that the way you dry up the PKK support is by more rights for the Kurdish people, give the Kurdish people in Turkey the full citizenship rights they deserve, and at the same time make sure that the Kurdish Republic, or the Kurdish entity, I should say, the Kurdish entity in Iraq does not allow safe haven for those who will commit acts of violence. I mean, there's problems on both sides of this situation. But there's no question, on the one hand, I don't support what the PKK does. On the other hand, I also recognize that everyone has a fault in its behavior and treatment of the Kurdish people. And no, I'm sorry, who else did I say? You and who else? You're done, I'm sorry. You and you. And okay, I said three. Yes, sir.
How can we enter the dialogue on the fact that our responsibility to the Mideast are just as important as our accountability at home? And until we bring the criminals to justice that started and instigated this, I know you said over and over that they didn't know or they didn't understand.
No, some of them did. Yeah.
When we put all the facts together, they knew exactly what they were doing when they went in there. It was illegal and criminal. And how could we hold our leaders accountable for criminal actions in this country?
Well, look, I can't disagree with you about holding people accountable for bad behavior and for worse than bad behavior, for actually lying and taking the lives of many of our own people. It is criminal. But we're doing something else right now. And actually, you can do one job at a time. And what I would not want to do is divert ourselves from this critical debate until we are in a position where we can elect a more responsible and responsive government. If you try to do the one on top of the other, neither one's going to get done well. Bottom line. Okay? Yes? Well, you know, I am Catholic, and we actually believe that sins are not only sins of commission and omission, but also of intention. But that's my faith and not my politics. I can't judge people's intentions, and I don't know what they were. But I do know what they did, and I know what they didn't do. And those I can judge rather directly and rather clearly. And I can condemn them for what they've done. I don't know what they intended to do. And so excuse me if I don't get into that, because I just don't know. There's a price to pay. And my hope is that it will be more than history that will ultimately judge their behavior. But the time for us to judge their behavior and hold them accountable will unfortunately be in the next administration after we've started to get it right. What I do not want to do is engage in a 2-3 year impeachment process or beyond impeachment process in a 2-3 year set of hearings and I mean, if we get our jollies seeing them fry while the region is still in flames and we are still doing damage to our people and still doing damage to their people, nothing would have been solved. We got to get this right first, and then we can figure out what we do to those who got it wrong. But thank you all very much.